All right, welcome back, Sebastian here. So today I'm going to be doing my race rating, quality rating for the midway point of the 2025 F1 season, looking at who's been the best driver through this halfway point in the 2025 season, and also taking a look at who have been some of the worst drivers so far this year. So in case you missed the last video I did, which was after race 5, the race rating goes from a big positive number that's really good to a big negative number that's really bad. So it's basically from about positive 2 to negative 2, basically. The quality rating is kind of the opposite. So a big negative number is really good, and a big positive number is really bad. So the best drivers are going to have like a negative 0.6. Worst drivers are going to be about +1 or so, just to kind of give context for what kind of the range of possible scores are. So we're going to go from worst to best, starting with driver number 21, who is our new driver, who, of course, had not yet made his season debut when I did this last time, and that is Franco Colapinto. So for Colapinto, it's been a really tough stretch of 6 races. His quality rating is a 0.967, which ranks dead last on the grid. Race rating, negative 0.568, which ranks slightly better in 18th. Of course, I can't compare to what his numbers would have been in the first quarter because, of course, he didn't race. So instead, I've compared to what he did last year driving for Williams. And as you can see in both quality and race, massive, basically a massive step back in both fronts. So a real puzzle there for Colapinto. Hopefully, he can turn things around. Otherwise, pressure is going to continue to mount on him. Number 21, dropping down one spot from last time, is Jack Doohan. Quality rating of 0.267, 17th, and race rating negative 1.046, which comes out in 19th. The quality rating, now of course for Doohan, he's only done one race since the last time he did this, so the number's only going to change very, very slightly. And of course, for his team, Alpine, they've had a whole bunch of other races, so that those races also kind of went into the calculation of trying to calculate, how good is this car actually. But for the quality rating, slightly better than last time, and the race rating a little bit worse. But again, sample size of one extra race compared to last time, plus a whole bunch of other races for Alpine. So not really a whole lot to say for Doohan, other than I don't think we're going to be seeing him again in Formula One. Negative 19, or not negative 19, that would be quite hard. 19th, 4 spots worse than last time, is Lance Stroll, driver who's been one of the biggest movers down since I first did this video. Quality rating 0.564, which is 20th, and then race rating negative 0.467, which was 16th. And as you can see from both, compared to the change from last time, big drops down in both quality performance and in race performance. I think, to be honest, the race performance last time I think was skewed quite a bit by the 2 races in Australia and China, where he did really, really well and got really good results. He's basically been extremely anonymous, except for those 2 weekends, and of course last time out in Silverstone. So again, bigger sample size, a bit more reflective of, I think, where he's been performing this year, which has not been very good. Number 18, same spot as last time, is Yuki Tsunoda. So for Tsunoda, the thing that's keeping him from being any lower is his quality rating, 0.19, which does rank 15, which to be honest is not too terrible. The race rating though is in historically terrible proportions, negative 2.308, which ranks dead last, 21st, and both numbers, quality and race, have gotten worse since last time. So hopefully for Tsunoda, he can turn it around. Of course, he's only scored 4 Grand Prix points this year, whereas his teammates at over 150. So again, not a great situation for Tsunoda. That's like basically you'd have to go back honestly to Schumacher, Benetton in the 90s, or you'd have to go even further back, a couple more decades, to Emerson Fittipaldi winning the championship in the 70s, where his teammate got no points. That's basically the level of performance disparity that we're looking at here between Verstappen and Tsunoda, and hopefully for Tsunoda, he can turn things around after this mini 3-week break that we've had. Number 17, our first big mover up, and that is Liam Lawson. it's a magic what going from Red Bull to Racing Bulls will do for a driver's performance. But for quality rating, 0.459, still not very good in 19th, but race rating negative 0.418, which does rank 14th. And as you can see, a small improvement in quality performance, but a big improvement in race performance from Lawson. He's had a couple standout drives, including that Austrian Grand Prix, and of course, not driving the Red Bull and having that Red Bull. Obviously, his results at Red Bull, the first 2 races of the season would have skewed his results last time out pretty badly, just like they're skewing Tsunoda's right now. But again, he's had some better performances for Racing Bull, so that's allowed his rating to improve quite a bit. But still, I think on the hot seat a bit, and still has not been one of the better drivers this year. Number 16 is Gabriel Bortoleto, moving up 1 spot from last time. His quality rating is actually quite good, negative 0.128, which does rank 11, so right around average. The race rating not so good, however, negative 1.374, which does rank 20th. And when you compare quality rating and race rating to last time, quality ratings have gone up, race rating has actually gone down. I think for Bortoleto, it's very difficult to assess his race performances simply because his teammate has basically managed to get these basically magic performances out of nowhere. And that makes it quite difficult to assess some of his teammates, some of his performances, where, Hulkenberg, it seems like every time there's an opportunity for a big haul of points, Spain, Australia, British Grand Prix, Hulkenberg's there to pick up the pieces. Even the one race where Bortoleto did get points, his teammate went from basically back of the grid to finishing right behind him. So again, I think it does show that, Bortoleto still has, quite a bit of room for improvement in terms of race pace. He's had a couple crashes, a couple DNFs as well, so that obviously doesn't help matters. But that being said, I think the quality pace is really good. And, when you're a young driver starting in F1, that's very, very important. All right, number 15, another mover down, and this is Kimi Antonelli, dropping 2 spots from last time. Quality rating, negative 0.011 or 14th, and race rating of negative 0.454, which ranks 15th. So for Antonelli, it's been, I think, a bit of a frustrating second quarter of the season. As you can see, both quality rating and race rating are worse than after the quarterly mark of the season when I did my last video. He's had some, I think, frustrating races. He had some bad reliability, which of course not his fault, but he's also had races like Austria where he basically just torpedoed Verstappen out. That being said, did get his first podium in F1 last time out, but unfortunately it was also a race where he won, whereas his teammate won. So I think it showed that, that car performance for the Mercedes at that specific weekend was very, very strong. All right, number 14, same spot as last time, and that is Ollie Behrman. So for quality rating, 0.249 or 16th, and race rating of negative 0.019 or 13th. Quality rating has improved slightly since last time out, and again, I think he's had a pretty good run of form in qualifying the last 5 or 6 races or so. The race performance has dropped quite a lot. I do think that some of that was just a bit of a small sample size last time out. But again, he has had some races where I feel like he could have or should have scored a point on, 1 or 2 occasions, occasions where his teammate Ocon was the Haas driver who picked up the pieces. All right, number 13 is said teammate Esteban Ocon, up 3 spots from last time. The quality rating, 0.279 or 18th, is still pretty bad, and that's something I think should be a concern for Haas, given that they brought in Ocon to be their lead driver. The fact that he's struggling as much as he is in qualifying is not great. Race rating, though, is pretty good, 0.425, which does rank 10th. Overall, and again, compared to last time, quality rating and race rating have both improved, so it does suggest that Ocon is settling into Haas a little bit better. But that being said, for the quality rating in particular, that one is last time out when I did the video, it was really small sample size, and I knew Ocon's rating was way lower than it should have been. So I think this is kind of a correction to where a bit of a correction to where it should be, and less a reflection of his improved quality performance. All right, number 12, Isaac Hadjar, down 3 spots from last time. Quality rating, negative 0.059 or 12th. Overall, race rating, 0.164 or 11th. So quality rating and race rating both, quality rating down a little bit compared to last time, and race rating down quite a lot. I think the race rating is a little bit more reflective of just a little bit of a bigger sample size, and it's more reflective, I think, a bit more, statistically accurate to where, Hadjar's performance actually is. Where I think he's, a good driver. He's had a good rookie season, but I definitely think, if you put a much more experienced driver like Carlos Sainz in that Racing Bulls card, I think that would really highlight, just how much higher the performance ceiling is of the car compared to what, both Hadjar and Lawson are getting out of it. Now, speaking of Carlos Sainz, that was interesting segue there, but Carlos Sainz comes in at 11th. So a real divergence here between quality performance and race performance. So quality rating negative 0.291 or 6. So it says he's been one of the better qualifiers this season, but the race rating is pretty horrific, negative 0.514 or 17th. So quality rating has actually gone down just slightly. So again, very, very small amount. The race rating, I think when I talked about Sainz when I did my quarter season video, I talked about how, small bit of a small sample size. When I do this at the halfway point, I want to see Sainz's rating be a lot higher. And the fact is, it is higher, but not by as much as I would have hoped. I think for Sainz, there's definitely some questions there. I think, valid questions about, why that quality performance is not translating into race day performance. Some of that, I think, has just been bad luck. He's had quite a bit of bad luck, like last time in Silverstone, where he basically got torpedoed by Leclerc towards the end of the race. But he's also had races where it felt like the tire management's not been very good. It's been a bit of a problem. And you also have races like Austria, where Australia, where he basically just crashed out. So not a great half season for Sainz in terms of race performance. So it'll be interesting to see what he can do second half of the season. Now, number 10 is Fernando Alonso in the same spot as last time. Quality rating, negative 0.273 or 7th on the grid, interestingly enough. Race rating, 0.079 or 12th. I think for Alonso, and for both, just before I comment on Alonso, and both quality rating and race rating are an improvement from last time. I know when I did my video last time out, everyone was saying, Alonso's quality, someone said, Alonso's quality rating is way too high. But given the improvements that we've seen the last couple weeks, or the last couple months, I should say, from Aston Martin, and given that Alonso recently has been able to be, close to best of the rest or best of the rest in qualifying, I do think it shows that, the consistency, the qualifying performance, even if the peak performance is not there, the consistency is still very good, and he's out-qualified Stroll every race this season. The race rating, I think, is still held back a little bit just from some of the bad luck that he's had this season, and hopefully that's something that will continue to improve as the season goes along. Now, number 9 is Lewis Hamilton, another driver who's improved. He's up 3 spots from last time. Quality rating, race rating, both improved from the quarter season video, which does suggest that Hamilton is getting a bit more embedded in the team, becoming a bit more comfortable at Ferrari. Quality rating, negative 0.231, which ranks 9th, and race rating of 0.546, which also ranks in 9th. Number 8 is Pierre Gasly, down 1 spot from last time, quality rating of negative 0.197 or 10th, and race rating of 0.952 or 8th. Quality rating, small improvement from last time, and race rating, a bit of a downgrade from last time, but still, both numbers are really good. And Gasly is basically single-handedly carrying the Alpine team, where, both Doohan and Colapinto have really struggled this year. I don't think if it's going to be enough for Alpine to not finish last in the Constructors' Championship, but I think Gasly's doing a pretty good job. And, next year with the Mercedes engine, it'll be interesting to see what he can do. Number 7 is Nico Hülkenberg, up 1 spot from last time. So quality rating is actually not so good. I would say it's a bit below average. Negative 0.037 or 13th. Race rating, a whopping 1.744 or 3rd. So the quality rating, a little bit of a downgrade compared to last time, which does suggest that, Bortoletto is getting more comfortable. He's out-qualified Hülkenberg quite regularly recently. But the race day performance definitely cannot be denied. Massive improvement compared to last time. And again, some of the not necessarily fluke results, but results where, Hülkenberg really benefited from the circumstances, whether that be a late safety car or that be rain. He really benefited from those circumstances. So again, it does explain a bit of that increase, but still, Hülkenberg's done a very, very good job in the races so far this season. Number 6, dropping 1 spot from last time, is Alex Albon. So for Albon, quality rating, negative 0.245, which ranks 8th, and race rating 1.160, which does rank 4th. The quality rating, I think, has decreased a little bit from last time, but I do think that can be explained by, I think, Sainz just getting a little bit more comfortable, and he has been out qualifying L1 a little bit more recently. Race rating, still pretty good. I think L1's done a pretty good job of maximizing the results. Last 7 races, which basically cover the period since last time I did this video, he had those 2 really good results in Miami and Imola back-to-back, and then he also, last time out, had pretty decent result at the British Grand Prix, and then he had a couple mechanical DNFs in there as well, which is something that the model takes into account. So a pretty productive race stretch when he has finished those races. All right, number 5 is George Russell down 3 spots. A bit of a surprise that he's gone down, but we'll discuss. So quality rating, negative 0.488 or 4th, and race rating 1.075 or 5th. The quality rating, it's such a small difference, but it's basically the same. He's been very, very good in qualifying this year. Race rating, hard to say for sure why his race rating would have gone down so much. I think part of it is last time out in Silverstone, where he basically started fairly high up the grid and then obviously finished 10th on the road due to some pretty poor strategy. Again, part of it might be that because, even though he won a Grand Prix, the Canadian Grand Prix, his teammate also finished 3rd. And for having those kinds of results there where, both drivers do well, it does kind of pull up the number that I used to determine how strong a car is, when both drivers are able to get really, really strong result. So I do think that, those two things together might have played into it, but otherwise, hard to say. But I don't think, Russell's been bad this last 7 races, but I do think he's just been, very, very good. All right, number 4 is Oscar Piastri. Same position as last time. Quality rating, negative 0.529 or 3rd. Race rating, 1.041 or 6th. And again, both quality and race a little bit worse than last time out. I do think Piastri's best stretch that season, from basically China to Miami, where he won pretty much every Grand Prix, I think, bar one, was his best stretch of the season so far. So again, he's only won 1 race since then, which was the Spanish Grand Prix. So again, you could argue, I think, a little bit of a drop in performance, especially in race day. Quality performance, I think it's been a little bit closer, but he did have that race in Austria, for example, where, he was clearly second best over 1 lap to Norris. That being said, still pretty good, and definitely still leading the championship, so it'll be interesting to see how things go from here. Now, number 3, same position as last time, is Charles Leclerc. Quality rating, negative 0.601, ranks 2nd on the grid, and race rating of 1.028, which interestingly ranks 7th. So a little bit lower than I would have expected, but still pretty good. You can see quality rating, a bit of an improvement from last time, race rating, a bit of a downgrade. And again, races like last time out in Silverstone will definitely play its part in kind of lowering that rating. Now, number 2, Lando Norris, bit of a surprise, but he's up 3 spots from last time. Quality rating, negative 0.442, which is 5th. So again, I do think a bit of room for improvement there. Race rating, 1.735, which does rank 2nd. So quality rating goes down a bit from compared to last time. Race rating, a big improvement, positive 0.463. And even though he had that race in Canada where he basically crashed into his teammate and cost himself 10 points basically. He also has won the last 2 Grand Prix, so that's a big positive. And he's also not having races like Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, where he has a bit of a struggle in qualifying and then really struggles to get through the field. So I think the race day performance, Sunday performance, with the exception of that crash with Piastri in Canada, has been very, very good, and it's enough to basically move his rating up quite a bit. Now, number 1, not a big surprise, is Max Verstappen, same spot as last time. Quality rating, negative 0.677, which ranks 1st. I don't think anyone would really, doubt that, challenge that. He's taken poles out of the bag like last time in Silverstone, where it looked like he wasn't going to get pole and looked like there was, 3 or 4 other drivers who probably should have gotten pole, but no, Verstappen was the one who nailed that lap. Race rating, 2.807, which also ranks 1st. I think the race rating is a little bit not necessarily inflated, but I think it's helped by the fact that he's had a couple races where he's gotten a really poor result, relatively speaking, by Verstappen's standards. And Tsunoda's performances have basically been so far adrift that Verstappen's worst performances are still, sometimes better than Tsunoda's best performances. And based on how I calculate the car performance, when there's this big of a gap, like we're talking like historic levels, like once in a 50-year event level, I do think it's kind of skewing the numbers slightly to make the Red Bull seem a little bit worse than it actually is. So while his race performance has gone up by 0.2 compared to last time, I think a lot of that, despite the fact that he's had races like Spain, Red Mist, last time out, spun behind the safety car, crashed out by Antonelli, where he's had like 3 races out of the last 7 where he's had, not really good Saturday, Sunday performances. Again, some of those like Austria, not really his fault, but basically they're enough to basically skew the Red Bull car performance down, so it doesn't really affect Verstappen's actual performance too much, and makes his other ones look better. A bit of an unusual quirk, so hopefully Tsunoda can start performing. So otherwise I might have to try to create a new metric to assess car performance, just because this one has worked very, very well, except for this one specific case. So there you go. That is my list from 21 to 1 of worst drivers and best drivers according to my quality rating and race rating. What do you think? Do you agree with those chip picks, or do you think there's any drivers who you think are too low or perhaps too high? Let me know in the comment section down below. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and goodbye. Where is that mirror? Oh, there it is. Okay, goodbye.